So look, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the videos that I've been putting up on this YouTube channel have been about Myers-Briggs personality types, specifically my own personality type, INFP. And don't get me wrong, I will always be a devout follower of the cult that is MBTI. However, I would be lying if I was to say that from time to time, I didn't dabble in the Soviet dark arts of Socionics. Now, my friend Radish Raven on her YouTube channel talked a little bit about Socionics during a live stream the other week. And so I thought I would offer some of my thoughts about the pros and cons of Socionics, what I think it gets right, and what I think it doesn't quite hit the mark on. Now, first of all, I'm a little bit biased towards Socionics because I love the city of Vilnius, which is where it was created. I feel like next time I go to Vilnius, I'm going to have to track down the Socionics headquarters. Maybe they're undercover. Maybe there's an underground lair. I don't know where the Socionics headquarters is. Let me know in the comments if you know where it is. Now, obviously, Myers-Briggs and Socionics are both based on Carl Jung and his theories on cognitive functions and personality types, from what I understand. But it seems like with Socionics, they're really taking into account the fact that all humans do have every cognitive function. All humans can think and do everything and use all of their functions. And the other thing I like about Socionics is their attitude towards intertype relationships, how every different personality type has their own unique way of interacting according to the system. Of course, in real life, it never really matches that well, but there's just like tiny things that ring true. And I think because personally, I've always wanted to be a fiction writer, I love the idea of different archetypes, and I love the way how different archetypes then interact with each other and how some clash and how some become natural comrades, you know what I mean? I just love that whole world, and so I endlessly love looking through all the different intertype relationships, even if you've got like two INFPs like myself, how they're going to be reacting to each other in an identity relationship and the pros and cons of that. And then they quite correctly, as far as I'm concerned, talk about how INFPs and ESTPs are conflict pairings. And that makes a lot of sense to me. ESTPs are the one personality type I just don't seem to be able to maintain friendships with, although I know there are a lot of INFPs who can. Now, of course, a lot of these intertype dynamics don't really make any sense to me. Like in Socionics, they love the idea of dualism. So basically your opposite type is your best match. You know, an INFP such as myself should be in a relationship with an ESTJ, because I guess the idea is that you're both lacking in what the other person has. So the theory is that opposites kind of attract each other in that way. And you know what? When I was a teenager, about 12 or 13 years old, I actually found myself constantly in friendships with those personality types. And I think maybe that's what I needed as a 12 and 13-year-old INFP. Maybe that's when you're crying out for the dualism relationship. You need to develop your weaker cognitive functions, and they were trying to do the same with you. So with me, with my introverted feeling, you've got a lot of ESTJs and ISTJs. They're crying out to strengthen their introverted feeling, and they want to hang out with you more. And then me as an INFP, I'm trying to step away a bit from my introverted feeling and explore the world of extroverted thinking and introverted sensing, I think. And I really felt like that was a very appealing thing at that time in my life. It was really after about 25 or 26 when the whole dualism thing didn't seem to have any value anymore. It was just limiting me. And I think that might actually be the case for a lot of other people. Maybe it depends on what personality type you are. I think for an INFP and an ESTJ, I can get on pretty well with them these days. I can actually get on with them better than I used to. But on the other hand, I'm not going to get super close to ESTJs, unless of course a very special ESTJ comes along, I guess. The other thing is these articles that the Socionics experts write about all the different personality types, they're very subjective about very odd versions of the types. And I think if you were to take them too seriously, you might, be a little bit confused. Like the write-ups about my type, the Dostoevsky INFJ, as it's called in Socionics, that character that they're putting forward, this character that they describe as having this sort of thirst for dominating others psychologically. I wouldn't say that that's something that I resonate with. I'm sure there are. Actually, I have met INFPs like that. However, I just don't think most INFPs are like that. I think the idea is that because we've got an inferior function of extroverted thinking and we've got our introverted feeling, and the nature of that is to be a little bit unbalanced between trying to not dominate people at all, and then maybe underneath all of that, there's this thirst to dominate others. And it's a really weird discussion to have at the end of the day. Like, are INFPs, with their opposite type being ESTJs, are they naturally domineering and wanting control just because that's the opposite to what they actually are? I don't know. Like, are we going to go around accusing all ISFJs of playing devil's advocate all the time and trying to rock the boat and not respecting social harmony, if you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to say that. And it's the same with INFPs. It's like, We don't have to accuse everyone of doing the opposite of what they actually do we? I do kind of like this discussion. To what degree is everyone their opposite type, and how much should we condemn them for it? I don't know. So anyway, to conclude, I don't think I'm going to be jumping in headfirst to the gatekeeping world of Socionics anytime soon. I am a devout follower of the cult of MBTI, and at the end of the day, all these systems are actually pseudoscience because we can't prove any of this. I think it's one of the better pseudosciences out there, MBTI or Socionics. However, there's only one person that we should really be trusting for all of our personality type information, and that man's name is C.S. Joseph. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.